Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Christmas in Arkham 2024. You're probably a little bit confused as we're getting ready to play Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, and we're sitting at my desk. Normally we'd be in the game room playing this, but after having my playthrough, after having Game 5 of my 2017-18 Stanley Cup Finals season replay in Stratomatic Hockey go 4 overtimes last night, I wasn't going to be playing 2nd Edition after needing to be able to set it up because I wanted to get to bed at a reasonable time. So I stopped by Jester's Sentinels of the Multiverse stream for probably about 10-15 minutes. Just hung out for a little bit, mostly to let myself cool down before I went to bed. Fortunately, beforehand, I'd actually found a good module in Tabletop Simulator that I could use for Arkham 2nd Edition, so we're going to give that a whirl today. With that, let's say we tab in and we'll start setting things up. Of course, let's go meet our adversary first, and our adversary is Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth, the key and the gate. While Yog-Sothoth stirs in his slumber, the difficulty to close or seal a gate increases by 1. In addition, any investigator lost in time and space is devoured. Now, the first part of that, the difficulty to close or seal a gate, that's why losing Agnes during Eldritch Horror last week was such a big problem. Agnes was probably going to be our primary gate closer. Anyway, the other way that Yog-Sothoth modifies the game is with worshippers. Yog-Sothoth's worshippers have powerful magical abilities. Cultists have magical immunity and a combat rating of -1. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the stuff relating to the Ancient One battle when we get that far. As you can see, we also have 12 Doom to wake up Yog-Sothoth, and I'd rather not try to fight him, especially with magical immunity. Anyway, let's meet our team. First up, we'll meet our replacement for poor Agnes, as we've got Diana Stanley, the Redeemed Cultist. 4 sanity and 6 stamina. She being the replacement for Agnes, she will not start down 1 and 1. As she wasn't around to see the loss. She starts at the general store. Fixed possessions are $4, 2 clue tokens, and a Silver Twilight Lodge membership. Random possessions, she's got a common item, a spell, and a skill. We'll go through all of that in a minute. Special abilities are Trusted Insight, her Trusted Sister. Any phase, you can't lose your Silver Twilight Lodge membership. And then Dark Insight in any phase. Gain a sanity or a stamina each time a Doom token is added to the Ancient One's Doom track. In addition, gain a clue each time the terror level increases. Would help if I load sliders for Diana. There we are. Oh, I bet that's how we make the investigators active. And Diana Stanley, I think I need to go grab her token. Nope. She is at the general store. Okay, so we're all set there. Anyway, her possessions. First up, we'll look at her Silver Twilight Lodge membership. Whenever you have an encounter at the Silver Twilight Lodge, you have an encounter at the Inner Sanctum instead. As for her random possessions, we've got her random skill is Speed. +1 Speed, and when you spend a clue token to add to any speed check, add an extra bonus die. We've also got Find Gate, casting modifier -1, sanity cost 1. Movement, cast and exhaust to immediately return to Arkham from an other world. And the rifle for her weapon, she's got +5 to combat checks. And actually, I think Diana's just going to straight replace Agnes as our best closer. And yes, Philip, I am still alive after that 4 overtime miracle and playing an even bigger game. But of course, Christmas in Arkham is a yearly Christmas tradition. In the ways that so many other families go singing carols and visiting like tree farms and stuff like that. So yes, I am somehow still alive. Haven't figured out how yet, but I am still alive. Anyway, Diana's personal story. Diana knew that the Lodge had eyes everywhere. She walked casually through Arkham's streets toward the police station. She was certain the evidence she had would see that Carl Sanford was locked away as a madman for the rest of his life. She just hoped that whomever she spoke to at the station wasn't one of the Lodge's minions. As for her rewards, redemption. If Diana is at the police station during the upkeep phase, you may spend 5 clue tokens to place the mole into play. As on the fail, if the terror level reaches 4, place laying low in play. So I'm actually going to see if I can find some sort of marker. There should be a marker I can use at terror level 4 to remind me. Actually, let's do this. Let's see if I can make a copy of Diana's Investigator mini. See if I can bring that down in size a little bit. Not lift height. There's a way I can reduce the size of objects. Let me see if I can look that up here. Controls probably. Probably not. Well, let me see if I can right click and do something about that. So let's go toggles. Oh, here we go. Scale down. All right, we'll put Diana's on. We'll put Diana's on terror level 4 because that's where she fails her personal story, right? Yes. Okay, let's move over and meet our second investigator. Kind of like Doctor Who. I'm actually not a big fan of Doctor Who. Jenny Barnes was in for Christmas in Arkham for Eldritch Horror last week. 6 sanity, 4 stamina are her maxes, except she's starting down 1 of each per the rules of Christmas in Arkham. Fixed possessions, $10. Random possessions for Jenny, 2 common items, 1 unique item, 1 spell, and 1 skill. And we'll load Jenny's sliders. And then trust fund, upkeep, Jenny gains $1. So we're going to be saying that a lot. Upkeep phase, Jenny gets $1. For her possessions, she's got +1 lore as a skill. When you spend a clue token to add to a lore check, add 1 extra bonus die. Then Shriveling, casting modifier -1, sanity cost -1. It's a one-handed magical spell. Any phase, cast and exhaust to gain +6 to combat checks until the end of this combat. Then for her weapons, she's got a knife that's a +1 to combat checks, and a cavalry saber which is +2. And for her unique item, Warding Statue. Any phase, discard Warding Statue after failing a combat check to reduce the monster's combat damage to 0 stamina. This can also be used to cancel an Ancient One's entire attack for 1 turn. And then looking at Jenny's personal story, she was just off the train here in Arkham, and already Jenny hated this town. Of course, she'd had a few weeks on the trip from Paris to build the hate and fear. In truth, Arkham doesn't seem as bad in person as it did in her imagination. The gabled roofs and New England's architecture were actually fairly charming, and the people didn't seem too horrid, until she started asking questions, that is. Oop. There we go. Jenny's personal story is finding her sister Isabel. Pass. If Jenny is at the unvisited isle during the upkeep phase, she may spend 5 clue tokens to place Reunited into play. Fail. If the terror level reaches 3 or higher, place Too Late in play. So just like I did with Diana, I'm going to make a copy of Jenny's Investigator mini. We'll paste that down here. And it's not going to let me... There we go. It'll let me size it down on the keyboard. We'll place hers on terror level 3. That way we know Jenny's personal story fails there. We also need to reveal the relationship between Jenny and Diana, because we are playing with relationships, as I always do in 2nd edition. Jenny and Diana are business associates. Ooh, this is going to be very insane. After the initial setup, anytime either you or your partner gains $1 or more from any game effect other than this card, the other gets $1. So basically, Diana just became a trust fund baby along with Jenny. So that's going to be very busted. That should keep our money problems very much at bay for this game. Anyway, let's move over to our next investigator, Carolyn Fern, the psychologist. Maximums are 6 and 4 for sanity and stamina. But of course, Carolyn was also in Eldritch Horror, so she starts down 1 and 1. Okay. $7 and a clue token for Carolyn. We'll look at her random possessions. Psychology. Dr. Fern may restore 1 sanity on upkeep phase to herself or another character in her location. She can't raise a character's sanity higher than the maximum. Not surprising there at all. For Carolyn, she's got her common items. First up, a motorcycle. Exhaust to gain 2 extra movement points, and an 18 Derringer. +2 to combat checks, and the 18 Derringer can't be lost or stolen unless you choose to allow it. Then we've got a Silver Key. Any phase, put a stamina token from the bank on Silver Key before making an evade check to automatically pass it. Discard Silver Key after using it if there are 3 stamina tokens on it. And we've got the King in Yellow. Movement phase, exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a lore -2 check. If you pass, gain 4 clue tokens, lose a sanity, and discard the King in Yellow. If you fail, nothing happens. That should be everything there. Our skill is +1 sneak. When you spend a clue token to add to any sneak check, add 1 extra bonus die. Carolyn's personal story. Carolyn Fern read over the frustratingly obtuse paperwork in her room. Getting records from Arkham Asylum had turned into a bureaucratic nightmare. It was going to take a hefty amount of bribery to grease the wheels. But even as she filled in all the blanks, she worried she was too close to whatever it was that killed her patient. It wasn't safe to be here. And for Carolyn, her personal story is Final Analysis. If Carolyn is at Arkham Asylum during the upkeep phase, she may spend $15 to place Cured into play. Fail. If Carolyn has 6 or more clue tokens, place Followed into play. So we do want to get her some clue tokens, but not too many. And then the relationship between Jenny and Carolyn. Take Me Instead. While you and your partner are in the same location or street area, anytime either of you loses sanity, loses stamina, or is arrested, cursed, or delayed, the other may choose to suffer the effects instead. If the Ancient One has awakened, this card may not be used. And then our last investigator was also in during Eldritch Horror last week. That is Trish Scarborough, the Spy. 6 sanity, 4 stamina, and of course she's starting down 1 and 1 as well. Fixed possessions, $4, 2 clue tokens, and a lucky cigarette case. We'll look at that first. Lucky cigarette case. Any phase, discard lucky cigarette case to reroll any one skill check. She's got 2 common items, 2 unique items, and a skill, which we'll look at those later. Special abilities are for abnormal focus. Upkeep, Trish does not spend focus to adjust her sliders. Instead, at the end of each upkeep phase, move her sliders all the way to the left. She may then shift her sliders to the right a total of 5 shifts. And upkeep, Trish may, on breaking the limits, Trish may spend a sanity or a stamina for an extra shift to the right while adjusting her skills. She may do this up to 3 times per turn. And then looking at her possessions, her other common, she's got a 45 automatic, +4 to combat checks, and a Tommy gun, +6 to combat checks. She's also got the Lamp of Alhazred for a magical weapon, +5 to combat checks, and the Ancient Tablet. Spend 3 movement points and discard Ancient Tablet to roll at 2 dice. For every success rolled, draw a spell. For every failure rolled, gain 2 clue tokens. And her skill is +1 sneak. When you spend a clue token to add to any sneak check, add 1 extra bonus die. And then Trish has 2 relationships. She has one with Carolyn and one with Diana as we loop around. So Trish's relationship with Carolyn, I'll vouch for my friend. After the initial setup, anytime you or your partner gains a bank loan, retainer, Silver Twilight Lodge membership, Sheldon Gang membership, Rail Pass, or one of the 1,000 cult membership, the other may choose to take a card of the same type if she does not already have one. And then Trish with Diana, Skullcrackers. Either you or your partner may exhaust this card before making a combat check to gain +1 to the check. And then we'll take a look at Trish's personal story. Am I actually working for the government, or is the agency using me to undermine the real government? That was the key question Trish set out to answer when she came to Arkham. Hopefully, she would find her answers in the archives of the Arkham Advertiser, but if not, perhaps she could try Miskatonic University. And then her personal story is who's in charge. If Trish gains 2 or more clue tokens at the same time during an encounter, place Exposed to Light in play. Fail. If 2 or more clue tokens are removed from the board by an opening gate at the same time, place Shadows into play. Okay, that's going to be all kinds of fun. And I think we're all set up with the investigators, so now we need a... We're not going to use the difficulty or the Herald. but we will use the Epic Battle deck. Pick the deck matching your current Ancient one. Let me grab that out just in case. I'll minimize that for Yog-Sothoth. Okay. Give that a quick shuffle. So the only thing we need... So as far as... We'll give these a shuffle as well. Just so you guys know there are no shenanigans. Enough to whip out of you. Okay. We'll give the encounters one last shuffle as well. Give both of these a shuffle. And we are all set for our first Mythos card. We can't start the game with the rumor. Anything else is fair game. That is a rumor, so that gets discarded. And this is a headline. Okay. So we spawn a gate at the Black Cave. Where are they? I'm going to be learning this module as well. So let's see where the gates ended up. Do we not have... Okay. I was about to say, do we not have a gate marker? Hold on. Something's not right because I wanted to use... Is it... I wonder if it's only the... Whatchalls that only the lurker gates that go in. Let me see if I can find the regular gates because I always use both lurker and regular gates when I play this game. So let me see if I can track them down from the module or from in here somewhere. Arkham Nightmare, Promotional BGG, Dark Pharaoh, Black Goat, Dunwich. Unused original gates. Okay, so we actually want these as well. Actually, hang on. I got to go through these to make sure I get the ones that aren't on the board. So, Great Hall of Celiano. We do have the Dreamlands. Okay, I think we're probably fine here. I was just being a little bit paranoid. Okay, we'll dump those in the gate bag. And then we'll draw our first gate out. Oh, it's a split gate right away. We've got the Great Hall of Celiano and the City of the Great Race. It's a star and a triangle gate. And where was that going? That was going to the Black Cave. The clue will move to Hibbs's Roadhouse. But of course, we need a monster. We'll need a Doom token here for Yog-Sothoth. There we are. And we need a monster to go with it. It's not letting me shuffle this for some ridiculous reason. There we go. Alright, so we'll draw a monster out with that. Ooh, it's Amigo. It's a flying monster, -2 to sneak past, and a circle monster. If you pass a combat check against Amigo, return it to the box and draw 1 unique item. -1 on the horror check, lose 2 sanity. +0 on the combat check, lose 1 health, 1 toughness to kill it. By the way, against cultists, when you see that the red number in the lower right, that'll be a -1 for cultists. Alright, so we've got the Amigo there. Then circle moves on white, square and diamond move on black. So the Amigo is going to move out to the Rivertown streets, see nobody there, and he'll go up to the sky. And then we actually deal with the event. Lodge member held for questioning. Headline: a Silver Lodge ritual lets 2 monsters loose in the French Hill streets. Oh, that's fun. So let's see what we've got coming out in the French Hill streets. Uh-oh. That's a Moon Beast. And a Shan. Shan is a +0 to sneak past triangle monster. -2 on the horror check, and if you fail a horror check against a Shan, you're devoured. -2 on the combat check, lose 1 health, 2 toughness to kill. As for the Moon Beast, +0 to try to sneak past. Any investigator knocked unconscious or driven insane by Moon Beast is devoured instead. Yoza! That's a way to start the day. -1 on the horror check, lose 2 sanity. -2 on the combat check, lose 2 health, 3 toughness to kill it. Fortunately, neither one of these monsters have any kind of immunity. So at least there's that, I suppose. Anyway, I think we're all set, so let's jump into our first upkeep phase. We'll pull the first player token over to Diana. Okay, so in the upkeep phase... Okay, so we use that control panel to change that. So the first upkeep phase of the game, we actually can go ahead and set our sliders anywhere we want them. So what do I want Diana to do? Diana's up at the general store right now. I could send her down to the Silver Twilight Lodge to grab this clue. And that doesn't seem like a completely terrible idea. I'm going to move this Arkham status over here so you guys can see what's going on there. How much speed do I need to get Diana from the... Oh, yikes. She's got to run the gauntlet, though. Both of those are +0s to sneak past. So I think we're probably going to settle for just trying to get Diana out of there. Although she's got a +1 speed, so I could go... So I could go 2-2 on that, and that's technically a 3-2 because of Diana's speed skill. As for her fight will, we've got the rifle. We got the rifle, and I just want to make sure neither of these are horrible if I got to try to deal with them. Well, I definitely want to make sure I've got good will for the Shan. So I think we're going to go with a 1... Actually, we're going to go... Yeah, we're going to go 1-4 on fight will, because both of those are going to have a tough will, and I'm counting on the rifle to get me past most of that. And then for lore luck, I will leave that at a 3-2. That's fine for now. And then over to Jenny. Upkeep phase. Say it with me, kids. Jenny gets $1. Also something we're not as used to saying, Diana gets $1. Diana getting $1 for Jenny's upkeep, for Jenny's trust fund, because they're business associates again. Let's see. Jenny is up at the train station. So let's see what she's doing. It's very tempting to send Jenny shopping right away. Especially with that difficulty that we're going to be facing of trying to close gates. I think Elder Signs are going to be at a premium this game, so sending Jenny shopping wouldn't be a terrible idea. She only needs 2 speed to get the Curiosity Shop, so that's where she'll set that slider to start the game. As for her fight will, I think we're fine making that a 3-3. Then lore luck, we'll go 3-3 on that as well. So that'll be fine for Jenny. Let's move over to Carolyn. Carolyn has nothing to heal since it's the first phase of the game. We'll set... Where do I want her to go? If I were to send Carolyn to get a loan, we could just get a lightning quick $20. Because with I'll vouch for my friend, if Carolyn goes to take a loan, Trish would get one as well, or we're trying to get a retainer be a better idea. 2, 3, that would be at the newspaper that we would try to do that. And... Well, Trish can actually probably stay at the newspaper. She'll try to get the retainer. And then Carolyn can gain that for the same reason that Trish would have gained a loan if Carolyn would have taken a bank loan. But I do kind of want to get Carolyn and Trish together anyway, because Trish actually can hand off one of the myriad of weapons that she's got, maybe the 45 automatic, over to Carolyn. But actually, she's already got a guaranteed 2 movement points, so I don't need to worry about taking Carolyn's move as high. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go With a 1 on speed sneak, we'll go 2-3 on fight will, and we'll go 4-3 on lore luck. I think we will plan on moving Carolyn. Yeah, we are going to move Carolyn over to the newspaper. Over to Trish. Her sliders, I think she's probably staying put. So I think a speed of 1 for Trish is probably fine. Then on lore will and fight sneak. Actually, that's another thing to note about Trish. Is her skills are paired different, and they're laid out different. So I think Trish will go up to 3 on fight. That's 2 shifts, so you can go up to 5 total. Let's go all 3 on lore will. Didn't mean to jar the block. I've got my mic on. I think that's it, and we'll move into the movement phase. So Diana is going to move up 1. Actually, I just realized that Diana might actually want to stay in the general store to see if some of this carnage moves off. I think that's what Diana is going to do. I think Diana is going to stay put. Fortunately, neither one of them are stalkers, I don't think. Orange is an aquatic monster. Shan's a flyer. And actually, the Shan could potentially move into the sky. So yeah, I think Diana is going to stay put I think Diana is going to stay put in the general store. As for Jenny, she is going to move 1 to Northside Streets and 2 to the Curiosity Shop. Jenny is going shopping, and I like how that Arkham status... Oh, I was going to move that, wasn't I? Let's put that... I wonder if it moves when you click that automatically. I'll check that. I'll check that when I go to move the next phase. Anyway, we are... Actually, I'll leave that there. So Jenny's in the Curiosity Shop. She's all set to go shopping. Carolyn is going to move 1 to the downtown streets. And I think she's got to exhaust... She's got a speed of 1 currently. So yes, she has to exhaust the motorcycle. That'll be a 2 over to Northside Streets. And 3 up to the newspaper, where, without being knocked over, Carolyn will say hello to Trish. And Trish will say, "Here you go, dear. I've got a 45 automatic for you." Carolyn will thank Trish profusely. And then the 2 of them will stay put, as Trish was going to stay put there as well. So now we're into the Arkham Encounter phase. Diana is, of course, at the general store. And there is text that we can have here. So instead of having an encounter, you may draw 3 common items and purchase 1 of them for the list price. Discard the other 2. But I think we're just gonna have a general store encounter because we don't get to do those all that often. So Diana will draw the top card of the deck, and we'll look at the general store. A jar on the counter bears a sign proclaiming, "Guess how many marbles are in the jar and win a prize. $1 entry fee. If you want, you may pay $1 to make a lore -2 check." Diana's lore right now, I left that at a 3 with a single solitary die. Let's not do that. That means that's a May, so we're not going to read anything else on the card. That's it for Diana. Jenny also has text on her location at the Curiosity Shop. Instead of having an encounter here, you may draw 3 unique items and purchase 1 of them for the list price. Discard the other 2. So Jenny is going to do exactly that with the unique items. We'll draw 3 and purchase 1. That's Eltdown Shards, Gladius of Carcosa, and Crystal of the Elder Things. No Elder Signs, but let's take a look at each of these. Eltdown Shards, on the movement phase, exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a lore -2 check. If you pass, remove a doom from the doom track, discard Eltdown Shards, and lose 2 sanity. If you fail, nothing happens. Looking at the Gladius of Carcosa for $7 as a magical weapon, +4 to combat checks, +5 instead if your other hand is empty, and Crystal of the Elder Things. Any phase, place 1 sanity token from the bank on Crystal of the Elder Things to avoid paying the entire sanity cost of a spell you're casting. If there are 3 sanity tokens on it, discard Crystal of the Elder Things. So not particularly good items, but... just looking here a little bit, okay? So they're not all great. What does Jenny have? Jenny's got plenty of physical weapons. I think she's going to take the magical weapon. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll bring Jenny down to $4. And she will take the Gladius of Carcosa. I want to have another weapon option open to me. The rest of these can go on the bottom of the deck. Alright, that is it for Jenny's encounter. Carolyn is at the... Carolyn's at the newspaper. Carolyn should have an Arkham encounter. Oh, wait. Let's try that again. Carolyn is not lost in time and space. I don't want to hear it out of you. There we go. Now we've got the Carolyn at the newspaper, so now we should be able to get an encounter for the newspaper. Earn $5 for a story. Nice. So Carolyn goes up to $12. Let's see here. Use when a monster appears. Oop, Carolyn does not need to get a new encounter card. That's at North Side. We'll give that a quick shuffle. And Trish will get her encounter card as well. You got... I mean, I did shuffle these, so Trish also gains $5 for a story. Nicely done to Trish. And now, just so you guys can see I'm not up to any funny business, there's the shuffle, but there are only seven encounter cards in here. I wasn't able to find a way in the module to just bring the encounter cards, and I could probably set each module out individually and add the cards that way, but nothing we can do there. We'll go back down here. We'll blow through the Otherworld encounter phase since we don't have any Otherworld encounters, and we'll go to the Mythos phase. So let's see what card we get next. Now we get a rumor. Uh-oh. All right, so we start off with a gate at the graveyard. All right, clue can go into the garbage for somebody. Then we need another gate. This is a regular gate. Going to Yog-Sothoth. Oh, joy. We'll get a second Doom for Yog-Sothoth. That's a -2 gate. And then we need a monster to go with it. And we find a deep one. +0 to sneak past. It's a cross monster. And yet I saw them in a limitless stream. Flopping, hopping, croaking, bleeding. Surging inhumanly through the spectral moonlight in his grotesque, malignant saraband of fantastic nightmare. -2 on the horror check, lose 2 sanity. -1 on the combat check, lose 2 health, 2 toughness to kill it. We got the Doom token, so we do need to work on getting some of these monsters under control. Let's see. Activity at French Hill Streets, we'll get to that in a second. Triangle, or slash, triangle, and star moves on white. Hexagon moves on black. So I believe we have a slash monster. That's the Moon Beast. That will move on white. That'll move down to the French Hill Streets. Triangle, the Shan is also a triangle. It moves on white, moving down here, seeing that there's nobody there. And he will go up to the sky. Then I don't think we had anything else. The deep one is a cross. It doesn't move. So the Great Ritual. Ongoing effect. Cultists, witches, warlocks, and priests, high priests have their toughness increased by 2 while this card is in play. Gross. Place 1 token on this card at the end of every Mythos phase, beginning the turn after it entered play. Pass. If a single player discards 3 spells, 4 if there are 5 or more players while in the French Hill Streets, during the Arkham encounter phase, return this card to the box. Each player gains 2 clue tokens. Fail. If there are ever 5 clue tokens on this card, return it to the box. From now on, draw 2 Mythos cards during each Mythos phase. Ignore everything on the first card except for the gate opening. So we'll get our activity marker. There we go. We'll put that on the French Hill Streets. And actually okay, so now Diana's way is clear. Then we'll pull the first player marker over to Jenny, and we'll move into the upkeep phase. Once again, say it with me, kids. Upkeep phase, Jenny gets $1, as does Diana. Diana goes up to $6. Jenny's back up to 5. Jenny, we're probably going to send her clue hunting at this point, so we'll move her speed up to a 3. I think that will do it for Jenny. Moving over to Carolyn. Well, first things first, on upkeep phase, we can heal either one of them. So I'll just heal Carolyn for 1 sanity. Which now brings Carolyn up to her max. They were, just so you can see that they were stacked. Now what do I want Carolyn to do? Do I want to go back to the strategy of trying to get a bank loan? I don't think so. I think we'll continue to send Carolyn clue hunting. We'll have her go down to the unnameable and pick up this clue. Actually, better idea could be to go get these 2 clues at Hibbs's Roadhouse. I don't want to lose these clues to a gate opening, so I think we're going to... Whoop, hang on. Tabbed the wrong thing. I was tabbed into OBS. So I think what I want to do here is instead I'm going to bump Carolyn's speed up to a 2 so I can use the motorcycle at Hibbs's Roadhouse. So I can use the motorcycle to go north side, downtown, east town, Hibbs's Roadhouse, and Carolyn can grab those clues. Actually, could Trish get her speed up high enough? She could. Which might be a thing we want to do instead. So where would I want to send Carolyn? I think we send Carolyn instead. So let's move her speed sneak back down for a second. Where could we send Carolyn? I think we could send her to Independence Square to grab this clue instead, but I definitely want to work on getting some of these clues off the board. So yeah, let's do that. Let's send Carolyn up to Independence Square to grab the clue. She needs a movement of 1, which is effectively 3 because she's got the motorcycle. So I think we are completely fine there. Unless I want to bump her speed up so I can maybe make a check on this king in yellow. Yeah, let's do that, actually. Let's move her, spend her to focus to move her speed sneak up all the way. All right, then for Trish, she moves all of her sliders to the left. We'll bump her speed luck up to 4-3 with the plan of sending her over to Hibbs's Roadhouse to grab those clues. That was 3 shifts already, so we'll go 1 of each because why not? On fight, sneak, and lure will. So that'll do it for our ladies. Let's move into the Arkham Encounter phase next, as we'll tab this down. Jenny with a speed of 3, once we move back up, is going to move 1 to the Curiosity Shop, 2 to the Merchant District, 3 to the Unvisited Isle. And it tipped Jenny over because of course it does. We'll grab the clue, and then we'll see about standing Miss Barnes back up. There we go. Oh, it zooms us right back to Jenny's sheet if we need to see her stats for something. But Jenny does get the clue. As for Carolyn, she is going to move 1 to the north side streets, 2 to downtown streets, 3 to east town streets. Actually, she's not going to be able to spend on the... Actually... Nope, 1, 2, 3. I need the motorcycle just to get her there. So exhaust the motorcycle for 4, 5. She'll move up to Hibbs's Roadhouse. What on earth? Something just popped up and I didn't want it to. We'll grab Carolyn the 2 clue tokens. Actually, did she only need the 1 movement point? No, she needed 2. So Carolyn is not going to be lost in time and space. Carolyn is at Hibbs's Roadhouse. Okay. So it looks like it does move back over to the lower right when the phase when the phase gets shifted. So that's good to know about this module. Okay, over to Trish, who's got her 4 speed all set to go. Yep. All right, so Trish is going to move 1 to north side. Oop. Actually, I was gonna have Trish go get that clue, but oh well. I'll just have them. Actually, no, I did want to do that differently. So Carolyn is going to move up to Independence Square. We're gonna do this a little bit weird because that's what I wanted to do. So that clue is gonna go back to Hibbs's Roadhouse. I went down to Hibbs's Roadhouse, but I remembered, oh yeah, I was going to have Carolyn go up to Independence Square so she could exhaust the King in Yellow to make a lore -2 check. So Carolyn gets 2 dice. Let's see, how does this go? Let's print on. And I think we hit the button to roll it. So Carolyn's making a lore -2 check on the King in Yellow. We'll turn that just a little bit. All right. And that is a... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Carolyn, 6 or more clue tokens. And she's already got... She's got 2 of them. She just gained 4. So, yeah. Too late to worry about it now. So, Carolyn will get 4 clues. But she will fail her personal story. The only bright spot there is now Carolyn can jump in a gate. So, Carolyn loses a sanity... and discards the King in Yellow. That was a complete herpaderp on my part. But Carolyn will fail her personal story out of that. We just needed the clues. Alright, followed. Carolyn knew her patient was murdered to protect some dark secret, and now she found herself in a similar position. Everywhere she went, she could hear the footsteps behind her. She could feel the eyes watching her. It was just a matter of time, she knew. Carolyn receives a -1 penalty on all sneak checks. Well, I don't know how many sneak checks Carolyn's going to be making in this game, but we'll see what happens there. That doesn't seem like it to be that bad a penalty, but we do have enough clue tokens to put Carolyn in a gate if we want to try to seal it. As for Trish, I thought I bumped her speed up. Yeah, her speed is at 4. I don't know why it's saying her speed is 2. Anyway, Trish will move 1 to Northside Streets, 2 to Downtown Streets, 3 to Easttown Streets, and 4 up to Hibbs's Roadhouse and grab the 2 clues here. So Trish now is up to 4 clues. Let's make sure everybody is all straight there. Okay. So we're all set there. Oh, no. Never mind. We have Diana still to go. Diana at the general store. I think I blew past Diana's upkeep. What did I want her to do? So we'll go back and do Diana's upkeep real quick. Now that we're in the way, we may need to start jumping into some of these gates, to be perfectly honest. So I think Diana will go up and try to deal with this deep one. Let's make sure her stats are good. She's got enough speed to get up there. Her fight will is a 1-4. I'm going to start working her lore luck up because I'm going to use her lore to try to close that gate. So Diana will move 1 to Rivertown Streets, 2 over to the Graveyard, which will put her off to the side for the time being. Diana is not going to be lost in time and space game. I don't want to hear it out of you for a second. First, could she try to sneak past the deep one? I don't think we're going to try to sneak past it. We do have 5 monsters right now in Arkham, and the monster limit's 7, so I'd like to try to get that a little bit under control. So Diana's going to make a -2 on her horror check. She's got a will of 4 right now, so she gets 2 dice. Place the type of die you want to roll on the pad. I did. There we go. Diana fails that, so she will take, what is it, 2 horror? Yes, 2 horror. She's down to 2. We'll lay those out as well, just so you can see the... I'm going to do that for everybody, actually. Hang on. Let's go ahead and do that for Jenny. Looks like Carolyn and Trish got that treatment already. Yep. Okay, so now Diana's got the rifle. She's going to be fighting at a 5 plus 1 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. And we need, what did we need? 2 successes to take it out? Yes. All right, so we get 5 dice. And we get 2 successes, which means Diana makes the deep one go toodaloo. All right, that is it for Diana. That's it for the movement phase. So now we're into the Arkham encounter phase. Actually, let me just test that. I'm going to move that up there. Okay, so as soon as you shift phases with it, it does move back. Okay, so we're going to be, looks like we're going to have that in the lower right corner no matter what. Which is, so I think the easiest thing to do is going to be to move me instead, not that. And I can move over there, maybe make myself just a hair smaller. Okay. I think that'll work better. All right, so Jenny is up at, actually, let's put Diana back on the board. Well, Diana will be in Yog-Sothoth in a second. So I'm actually kind of glad that's there as well to help remind me. Jenny is at the Unvisited Isle, so we'll give the Merchant District deck a shuffle, and then we'll get an encounter for Jenny. Unvisited Isle. Looking up at the night sky from the island, you see constellations that you've never seen before. The entire night sky is different here. Lose a sanity and gain a clue token. I think we can do that. Carolyn is up at Independence Square, so we'll give the downtown deck a shuffle. And then we'll get an encounter card for Carolyn. At Independence Square. There are gypsies camped in the park. Make a luck -1 check if you wish to interact with them. Carolyn's luck is a 3. And make a luck -1 check if you wish to interact with them. We do have clues to spend. So yeah, I think we'll make the check. It's a luck -1. Carolyn gets 2 dice. Okay, that's a pass. If you pass, an old man has spread several items on a blanket for sale. Draw 1 unique item and you may buy it for $1 less than the list price. Okay, so let's see what we get for a unique item. We get a lightning gun for $4, which we can spend for 3. Any phase, lose 1 and 1 to discard all lightning gun to defeat all monsters in the sky. Well, not only are we going to buy that for $3, we're immediately going to spend it because we got 2 horrible monsters. Well, the Migo isn't that bad, so I think we'll sit on it for the time being until we get something worse. Migo isn't that bad, but that Shan is a big problem. It might be worth blowing it for that. But we'll hold on to it for now at any rate. Just checking to make sure I don't have anything there. Okay. So we're all clear there for Carolyn. She got her lightning gun. Trish is at Hibbs's Roadhouse. So we'll get her encounter card. All right. Prohibition failed to influence the proprietor of Hibbs's. You drink heavily while quizzing the locals about the strange goings-on in Arkham. Make a will -1 check. Trisha's will right now is a 2. -1 is 1. And that's a fail. I think we'll just eat the fail on that one. If you fail, you pass out. Either have 1 item, your choice, or all of your money stolen and move to the street. Okay, Trish will move to the street at Easttown. And then she will have her ancient tablet stolen because we're probably not using that this game anyway. Okay. And then that's it for Trish. Diana on her Arkham encounter phase will actually get pulled through to Yog-Sothoth. So Diana will now have our first Otherworld encounter phase as we find the first player indicator. There's Jenny. Requires a gate card, so we found one. Alright, the appropriate section here is Other. A monster appears. Oh, delightful. So let's see what monster we get. Oh no, we get a Shan. Diana's sneak is a 2. So I think we are going to try to sneak past this with nothing to lose. And we fail, so now we've... Ugh, this is terrible. Do we try to fight this thing? I think we almost have to. So Diana, I've got to remember though against the Shan, if she fails the check, if she fails the horror check, she will get devoured. So obviously I don't want that to happen. We have 2 dice on this and 2 clues to spend. So let's run that 2 dice roll back. There's a success. And now since we've dealt with the Shan on the horror check, we don't have to worry about getting devoured. We have a -2 on the combat check, so that's 6. So that's going to be 1 plus 5 is 6, -2 is 4. And we need 2 successes to defeat the Shan. So let's see what we get here. That's 1 success. Diana will eat the fail on that one, so she'll lose 2 stamina. Fortunately, we don't have to make the combat check again, so let's try that again. 3 successes. That's more like it. So the Shan has been defeated. Nicely done there, Diana. And then that will do it for the Otherworld encounter phase. So now let's get a card from the Deck of Doom for the Mythos phase. Our Mythos card is a headline. Uh-oh, we've got a gate going to the Unvisited Isle, which is going right on top of Jenny. Jenny, oh boy, she's got... So she's going to end up in another dimension. And I'll turn her that way so she ends up delayed. It's not going to let me turn her in a way that I'm going to like. Because I can't stand her up like that. Unless I just let her fall. No. And as soon as I go to pick her up, it's just going to straighten her right back up. So I think I'll just have to remember that she got pulled through the gate. That's how we'll do that. Actually, I'll just make a note here in case I lose track of it. Jenny pulled through to another dimension. So if you see messages from me in chat, if you're watching this on the replay, that's usually because I needed to put something down to remind me of something. All right, so where were we? Oh, yes. Clue appears at the science building. So we'll grab a clue to appear at the science building. Now we really need to go try to get those clues if we can. Mainly to protect Trish's personal story. We need a monster to go with the Unvisited Isle gate, though. We find serpent people. They're an elusive and -2 to try to engage, so you have to pass a sneak check to engage them. Magical resistance and elusive. While serpent people is a monster trophy, it may be spent after failing a combat check to add 3 bonus dice to the roll. -1 on the horror check or lose 2 sanity. -2 on the combat check or lose 4 stamina. 1 toughness to kill it. And then one thing to note about the another dimension gate, you may see it's got an arrow on here as it's a lurker gate. What that means is it actually moves as a square monster. We also get a Doom on Yog-Sothoth's Doom track. All right, then we got the clue. Moon moves on white, cross moves on black. So the serpent people is a moon monster, so it'll move to the merchant district. And that just made, well, I was going to say it made Trish's road a little easier, but it really didn't. Or a little harder, but it really didn't. I think we are all clear on monster movement. And the Shan and the Migo are both not moving. Okay. A careless picnicker unleashes 2 monsters on the downtown streets. Yowza. All right. Hopefully we don't get too big a problem at the downtown streets. We've got a Night Gaunt and a Goat Spawn. Night Gaunt is a -2 to sneak past / monster. When you fail a combat check against the Night Gaunt, you are drawn through the nearest open gate. If 2 or more gates are the same distance from you, you choose which gate you're drawn through. -1 on the horror check, lose 1 sanity. -2 on the combat check, and 2 toughness to kill. As for the Goat Spawn, -1 to try to sneak past. Physical resistance. The creature was at once terrible and graceful. The result of blasphemous traffics was some otherworldly horror. -1 on the sanity check or lose 1 sanity. -2 on the combat check or lose 1 health. 2 toughness to kill it. Alright, and then that is all done. Now Carolyn becomes our first player, and we move into the upkeep phase. Carolyn will heal herself to full sanity. Let's grab some of the sanity out of here. Excuse me. So Carolyn's healing herself to full sanity. The motorcycle unexhaust. And what do we want Carolyn to do? Maybe... Carolyn's actually trapped right now. She's got the Goat Spawn and the Night Gaunt on top of her. But she's got plenty of firepower, so maybe +2, +4. And I think both of those don't do anything. Well, the Goat Spawn has physical resistance. The Night Gaunt does not. So, yeah. We'll probably try to deal with some of those. Trish is going to try... actually, what does Carolyn's stats look like? Fight will... I think we're going to leave that right where it is. As for Trish, she moves all of her sliders back to the left. She, once again, is going to need a speed of 4 to go get these 2 clues at the Science Building. Because we can go 1 to Rivertown Streets, 2 to the Merchant District Streets, 3 to Miskatonic University Streets, 4 to the Science Building. Remember, the Serpent people are elusive, so we'd have to pass an evade check to... We'd have to try to pass an evade or a sneak check to engage them. So that's the reason we can go right past them to go to the Science Building, and I think we will. So Trish needs to get her speed sneak up to 4-3. And then once again, we'll bump each of those up 1 of each. She actually got effectively 5 sneak if I wanted to go engage the Serpent people, which with magical resistance... I probably could use the Tommy gun on that, but I'm not going to worry about that now. Although we do... Actually, wait a second. We have... Hold on. We have got a monster limit of 7, so actually the Goat Spawn should be in the outskirts. Now that I've got that sorted out... Let's see. Trish's plan of going to get the 2 clues from the Science Building still stands. So that will work. Diana, that's a movement phase. So find gate. I think Diana's going to try to find a gate. So she's going to bump her lore up. I said Diana's going to bump her lore up. There we go. Should be up to 5-2. Okay, so we're all set there. And then Jenny is just going to stand up in... Jenny's actually essentially just going to stand up in another dimension. I want her sliders... I want her luck up a little bit because they tend to test luck a fair amount on these otherworld encounters. So that's it for Jenny. That's it for the upkeep phase. Wait a minute. Actually, that's not it for the Mythos phase because we had to roll for the rumor. The Great Ritual. So we need a die for that. I'll make a copy so I can put it over here to roll for the rumor. And we want a... Oh, no, we just placed a clue token on here. Never mind. So it's a clue that we need. I'll put that there. Okay, now we're all set for the movement phase. Let's find the first player resource. All right, so Carolyn is going to move. So that means that there's only the Night Gaunt there. So she'll move down to the downtown streets, and she'll fight the Night Gaunt. So that kind of changed the math considerably. Carolyn's not going to try to sneak past it. She's a -1 on the horror check, so she's got 2 dice. Carolyn passes that, and now she's got the combat check. She needs 2 toughness to kill this, and she's got a fight of 2, +2 from the Derringer is 4, +4 for the 45 automatic is 8, -2, so 6 dice for Carolyn. She needs 2 successes to take this thing out. And that looks like 2 successes to me, so Night Gaunt goes toodaloo. Wait a minute, something's not right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. I think I got a little confused here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just took out the Night Gaunt. So actually the goat spawn should not be in the outskirts. Okay. So now we've got to fight the goat spawn as well. -1 on the horror check, which once again her will is 3, so 2 dice. Carolyn passes that just fine. And now we've got to deal with the combat check. It's a -2, but physical resistance. So 3 + 2 is 5, -2 is 3. And actually, it looks like it's got it mirrored up here. So 3 dice for Carolyn, and we need 2 successes. Which that is 2 successes as well. So Carolyn will actually take out the goat spawn, and very nicely done by Carolyn. That ends her movement phase, though. As for Trish, who is starting at the East Town streets, she'll move. She had a speed of 4, I believe. Let me just double check her sliders. Yes. Okay, so up to Trish. She will move 1 to the run to the Rivertown streets, 2 to the Merchant District streets. Wave hello to the Serpent People and immediately wave bye-bye. 3 to the Miskatonic University streets, 4 to the Science Building, and she will pick up those 2 clues. That'll bring Trish up to 6 clues. Now she can jump into a gate. All right. And then Jenny just stands up in another dimension because, remember, she got pulled through. Actually, Diana's up next. Not that what Jenny's doing is going to affect Diana. Diana moves into this. Actually, before Diana does that, she's going to use her Find Gate to try to return to Arkham. So that's a casting modifier of -1, sanity cost of 1. Diana should be at... Actually, Diana's at... Diana's at 1 sanity. Do I like that idea? I don't think I do. So I think Diana's just going to move to the second half of Yog-Sothoth. 2 sanity in another world is dangerous enough. I'd rather not pour gasoline on the fire, though, by making Diana go down to 1 to try to come through and then fail. I'd feel... Well, she's rolling 4 dice, so I'd feel better about her chances on that. Jenny just stands up in another dimension. So that's it for the movement phase. Now we have the Arkham Encounter phase. And Carolyn... We'll give downtown a quick shuffle, but Carolyn is in the downtown streets. She has no encounter. Trish is in the Science Building, so she'll have an encounter at the Miskatonic University, out of the Miskatonic University deck after we put her card back in. That goes in Easttown. Now over to the Miskatonic University. Alright, she is at the Science Building. A chemical brew bubbles on a nearby Bunsen burner. It smells delicious. If you drink it, make a luck +0 check. Is she going to drink it with a luck of 3? She is going to drink it. So that's a luck +0 check. Her luck right now is 3. Yep, 3. Wow, passes with flying colors. If you pass, the strange liquid fortifies you. Roll a die and gain that many points, split between stamina and sanity however you like. Okay, so we'll roll this. And we will gain 3. So that's actually just... Oh, I didn't stack them for Trish, but that will bring Trish back to full strength. So we'll get her 1 of each. And then Trish will be done. And then as both Diana and Jenny are in other worlds, we blow through them in the Arkham Encounter phase, but they'll be the ones we'll be focusing on in the Otherworld Encounter phase. After I bring this card back for Jenny, because I'm doing terrible at remembering that clearly. Alright, Diana will need a blue or a yellow. So we'll get a gate card for that. And it's taking me a while, so we've got Yog-Sothoth. Another monster appears from the darkness. Oh, fun. So Diana facing another monster. She's got a Nafke. -2 to try to sneak past. She's going to have to fight it. Physical resistance overwhelming 1. Oh, joy. -1 on the will check, so she gets 3 dice. All clear there. And then physical resistance. So she gets 3 from the rifle. +1 is 4. -3 is 1. Oh, gross. Well, Diana's going to eat the fail on that. Lose 2 stamina. And I think she's going to have to spend a die. Just to have a die on a sneak check to try to get away from this guy. Which she will. That's a relief for poor Diana. Okay. So Diana's all clear. And then Jenny will take 1 off the top from another dimension. And it's an other. The humidity and heat is exhausting. Lose 1 stamina. Alright. I guarantee you there's a lot worse things in that deck that could have come out. And then that's it for Jenny. That's it for the Otherworld Encounter phase. Now let's move into the Mythos phase. So now we need a card from the Deck of Doom. Let's see what we get here. We've got an environment weather. Gate appears at Hibbs's Roadhouse, which isn't going to pull anybody in. We've got a regular gate. Let me shuffle these up, just to make sure we're getting fresh gates. We'll give that a shuffle. We've got a Dreamlands gate. That's a +1 gate. Going up to Hibbs's Roadhouse. Yog-Sothoth goes up to 4 Doom. And then we need a monster to go with it. Uh-oh. We've got a Dark Young, which is a -2 to sneak past. Physical resistance and nightmarish 1. The trees trembled, leaves fluttering around us. The earth shook as the thuds of giant hoofed feet grew ever closer. +0 on the sanity check or on the horror check, or lose 3 sanity. You lose 1 even if you pass. -1 on the combat check, lose 3 health. 3 toughness to kill it. That thing is a pig. Let's see, clue at Independence Square. Cross plus moves on white, moon on black. So the Serpent people are moving to Miskatonic University streets, which is... where did Trish is at the science building, so that's actually not in Trish's way at all. Alright, and then do we have any other moon or slash monsters on the board? I don't think we do. Nope. Okay. Raining cats and dogs. Environment weather. Speed checks in Arkham are made at a -1 penalty, and players receive 1 less movement point during the movement phase. Sneak checks in Arkham are made at a +1 bonus. Return any fire vampires in play to the cup. If a fire vampire enters play, return it to the cup and draw a different monster. We'll put that on the environment. And then first player will move over to Trish. And we'll start a new upkeep phase. Once I click on that, Trish is in the science building. Where do I want her to go? That is actually a good question right now of what I actually want Trish to do. Maybe having her go hunt clues could be a thing we do. Let's see. She's got it. So we're gonna pull everything back for her sliders. Actually, I'm gonna move that sanity token. Move these out of the way. Let's see. We could go 1, 2, 3 to the woods and grab this clue. I do want to try to pluck some of these clues on these high frequency gates. Like the woods is a good candidate, so we'll start there. Then we'll go 1, 2 on fight sneak and 1 on lore will. All right, over to Diana next, who's actually getting ready to come out of Yog-Sothoth. So we're going to be trying to close that gate. I want her lore luck up at 6-1 because I'm going to use Diana's lore to try to close the gate. And remember, I need 2 successes since I'm against Yog-Sothoth. Upkeep phase, Jenny gets $1, as does Diana. Oh, we also put a clue on the rumor. That thing is probably going to go off with nothing we can do about it. Let's see. So Jenny is just moving to the second half of another dimension. Then Carolyn is at full sanity, so she won't worry about that. What is she going to worry about, though? Maybe ducking back into Independence Square to grab that clue, although we are starting to get a little bit gate heavy on the board. Carolyn could go in a gate. Where do I want to send her, though? I think I'll try to send her into the split gate between the Great Hall of Celiano and the City of the Great Race. So that needs her to be 3 speed, which she should have. Right now she does. Okay, so I think that's what we're going to do with Carol in this phase. So that'll bring us into the movement phase. Trish, going back up to the board for Trish. She's going to move 1 to Miskatonic University Streets, 2 to Uptown Streets, 3 to the Woods, and grab the clue there. That'll bring her up to 7 clues. Then Diana is coming out of Yog-Sothoth, which was at the graveyard. Yes. And Diana will get an explored marker to go with it. Jenny will move into the second half of another dimension. And then Carolyn is going to move 1 to Easttown Streets, 2 to Rivertown Streets, and 3 to the split gate between the City of the Great Race and the Great Hall of Celiano. So it's probably... Okay, it's not giving me a card yet for... It's not giving me an option to pull a card yet for Carolyn. But that's it for the movement phase. Let's go to the Arkham Encounter phase. Trish is in the woods, so she will have an Uptown encounter. We'll give that a shuffle, and let's see what Trish gets at the woods. A gate and a monster appear. Oh, delightful. So we need we'll put a Doom on Yog-Sothoth, as we have a gate marker. Regular gate. Ooh, Trish going to relay. So we'll get a... Trish is at relay. So let me make a note once more. Trish pulled through to relay. Again, what you're seeing in chat, if you're watching this with the replay on, is anytime I'm putting a message in, I'm doing that in chat because I need to make a note of something. All right, so Trish got pulled through, and we need a monster to go with it. The monster that's going with that gate, Ick, color out of space. +1 to sneak past, immunity to both. Instead of moving, roll a die. On a 4 to 6, all investigators in Arkham lose 1 sanity. Yikes. So we're probably going to be depending on Miss Jennifer, who's in another dimension, to try to get that thing off the board for us. Fun times, no? I'm not particularly having fun with that one. Let's see. Diana's in Yog-Sothoth. Actually, Diana's trying to close that gate. So she's got a 6. Yog-Sothoth is a -2 gate. So Diana gets 4 dice. And remember, we need 2 successes on this to be able to close that gate. Which we don't get, so I'll spend a clue token to re-roll this die. And still fail. Okay, that's unfortunate. Diana, I think, will stay there to try to close that gate. Because we're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gates on the board. I got to work on getting these gates under control. Jenny is in another dimension. We'll come back to her during the Arkham Encounter phase. Carolyn is at the split gate between the Great Hall of Celiano and the City of the Great Race. I will send Carolyn to the City of the Great Race, and hopefully this will update properly for her. It will. Wow, we're going to have a busy upkeep phase, or busy Otherworld Encounter phase, because that's where we're going next. Poor Trish is stuck in the twisted corners of Dark Relay. That'll be a red or a yellow for her. So let's get a card for Trish. And we have Other. You push yourself to the limit. Roll 1 die for each point of stamina you have. Lose a stamina for each die that does not roll a success. If you don't fall unconscious, gain a clue token for each die that rolled a success. Trish has 4 stamina, so she'll be rolling 4 dice. And let's see what happens here. What? Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay, so she loses 3 stamina and gains a clue token. Somehow, that just didn't seem like that good a deal for Trish. But what do I know? Alright, Trish is done. Diana is... Actually, no, I take that back. Diana's at the graveyard right now. She's explored the gate, so she doesn't get another world encounter. Jenny, however, does, and she'll take 1 off the top. With Other. The sky is spinning. Pass a will -2 check, or pass out and stay here next turn. Jenny's will is a 3, -2 is 1. So she gets 1 die on that. Which... I think we'll just bite the bullet and have her stay there next turn. And then Carolyn is in City of the Great Race. She needs a green or a yellow. And we have City of the Great Race. The conical entity tries to teach you some magic. Pass a lore -2 check to draw 2 spells. The 2 you see in brackets there is the difficulty of the check. So in this case, we need 2 successes to be able to draw the 2 spells. Let's see what Carolyn has for her lore. Her lore is a 4. -2 is a 2, so both of these need to be successes. Which one of them is, and I think I'll spend a clue to try to get another success. And she will. So Carolyn will get 2 spells. Oop. Alright, so she gets Astral Travel and Storm of Spirits. Astral Travel is casting modifier -2, sanity cost 1, magical spell. Arkham Encounter. When in Arkham, instead of having an encounter, Cast and discard to move to the first area of any other world. So we could use this. You know what we could do? We could cheese this out potentially and say, put astral travel and what's the other spell? The one Diana has. Find gate together. So we could send somebody in, have an encounter, and then immediately find gate to pull them right back out. But that's very nicely done for Carolyn. We did... Yep, we did the other one. So Jenny passed out. She's staying there next turn. Jenny in another dimension. Next turn. Okay. And then that's our last Otherworld encounter phase. So now we move back up top for the Mythos phase. Let's see what we get here. We get a headline. First, we've got a gate at the woods, which is going to pull... Oh, no, we don't. We got a monster surge. So we're going to have 4 monsters come out. Which I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One's going to go to the woods. The other 3 are going into the outskirts. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So this one's going to the woods. It's a Shoggoth. -1 to sneak past. Physical resistance, nightmarish 1. The stench was unbearable, and rising to the surface came a terrible cry. Tekalili, Tekalili. -1 on the horror check or lose 3 sanity. -1 on the combat check or lose 3 health. 3 toughness to kill it. That goes to the woods. And we've got 3 more monsters going to the outskirts. We've got a Migo, a Bayaki, and a Ghost. I normally don't go through monsters that are going to the outskirts. So we're not going to worry about that. Clue at the Historical Society, which the Historical Society is, okay, down here. So we need that. Let's see. Hexagon moves on white. / triangle star moves on black. Hexagon, but immobile. / moving on black. So that will move back up to Rivertown Streets. Moon doesn't move. Diamond. Square doesn't move. I should mention, by the way, red means the monsters are fast, so when they move 2 spaces. Green usually has special instructions on how they activate. And the orange monsters are aquatic, along with blue being flying monsters. All right. So Strange Lights on Campus headline. The library, administration building, and science building are all closed until the end of next turn. Leave this card in play to indicate this. Fortunately, we don't have anybody at any of those locations. So Diana will be our first player once again, and we're in a new upkeep phase. So Diana is going to try to close that gate again. She'll stay put. Fortunately, she won't get pulled through on the Arkham encounter phase. Jenny is actually stuck in the second area of another dimension. Her sliders, she's going to take her... I want to be able to get her... Actually, I can get her fight back up to 4. So I'm going to go with a lore luck of 5-1. Oh, on upkeep phase, Jenny gets $1. And Diana gets $1. I don't think we can send Jenny or send Diana through... No, Diana's going to stay put. She's going to try to close that gate to Yog-Sothoth. Carolyn is only down a health, so she's fine there. She is moving to the second half of the City of the Great Race. And I can get her lore up to 5, which is what she's going to use to try to close that gate. So we're all set there. Trish moves her sliders back. I definitely want her luck up as high as I can get it. And we'll go 1 on each of the others. She's just moving into the second half of Relay. She will need to get healing when we come out of that gate. All right, so Diana. So that's it for the upkeep phase, movement phase. Diana is going to stay put in. Is going to stay put at the Yog-Sothoth gate over at the graveyard. Jenny's stuck in another dimension. Carolyn is going to move to the second half of the City of the Great Race. And actually, Trish got pulled through, so she got pulled through last turn. So she just stands up, actually. Yeah, she just stands up. So never mind that. All right, our only Arkham encounter phase right now is Diana. She's trying again to close this stupid gate. Her lore is a 6, minus 2 is a 4, and she needs 2 successes. Which we only get 1. And we needed 2, so that one fails. I think we blow through everybody else as we're in another world, as we're in other worlds. Yep. Okay, so now we're into the otherworld encounter phase, where we'll have everybody but Diana. Jenny's in another dimension. She will take 1 off the top. And other. Your mind is flooded with knowledge. Make a lore minus 2 check. Jenny's lore right now is a 1, plus 1 is 2, minus 2 is 0, so Jenny will automatically fail that, which means she avoids good stuff. Carolyn is in the City of the Great Race. She needs a green or a yellow. And we're searching. Here we go. City of the Great Race. The odd plant in you has you in its clutches. Pass a fight minus 1 check to break free. Carolyn's fight right now is a 2. Minus 1 is 1. Oh, this is a problem. Except Carolyn is made of pretty stern stuff. So she gets clear of that. Nicely done, Carolyn. I wish there was a button in here to auto send cards to the discard pile. Wait a second, there's a delay-undelay button on here. I didn't see that. Let me see something. What does it do when you're delayed? Carolyn is in... That didn't seem to do anything. Actually, current phase, what is that even doing? Oh, I see what it's doing. It's adding a note. Okay, to player marker. Okay, I'm actually really liking this module so far. Trish is in relay, so she needs a red or yellow. All right. You sleep fitfully and awaken to the sound of your own voice chanting something. Make a luck minus 2 check. Oh, that's gross. Trish on luck is, well, she's a 3. So that's a luck minus 2 check. Trish gets a single solitary die. And fails. Are we going to eat the fail? You know what? We've got some clues to spit. Well, we've got weapons for either one. Let's fail. Let's eat the fail. If you fail, the chant attracts something unsavory. A monster appears. Delightful. So let's see what Trish gets here. So Trish needs a monster. And she finds a skeleton. Minus 2 to sneak past. She's going to fight it. Undead physical resistance. Silently, it emerged from the water and strode up the beach towards us. Although the bleached skeleton was picked free of flesh, still it moved with a malignant purpose. Well, we are in Relay, which is supposed to be known for Cthulhu's realm of being a water world, and based in the Pacific anyway. Minus 1 on the horror check or lose 1 sanity. Minus 1 on the combat check or lose 2 health, 2 toughness to kill it. Trish will start off with her horror check. She's a 2, minus 1, she gets 1 die at this. Which is a pass. So now she's minus 1 on the combat check. Her fight is 1, plus 5 for the Lamp of Alhazred is a 6. Minus 1 is a 5, and she needs 2 successes. So here goes Trish. She will... she's got to spend a clue to re-roll. Just got to spend another clue to reroll. I do not want Trish being lost in time and space, because anybody who's lost in time and space is devoured. Spending another clue. Spending another clue. This is going to lose us our seal ability. Come on, Trish. This is not the time. Let's try a different die. This is not the time to be stupid. I'm not going to take that one because I was re-rolling this die. So that's still... We're going to call that not a success. So we'll move that out of the way. Trish, this is not the time to be getting devoured. Oh, come on, Trish. Last clue before she gets devoured. Ugh. Jeez. Alright, well. So Trish just lost 2 sanity, or 2 health. She only had 1 left. So that means she's getting lost in time and space, but unfortunately against Yog-Sothoth, because Trish is getting lost in time and space, against Yog-Sothoth, that means she gets devoured. So Yog-Sothoth goes up to 6 doom. Trish will get devoured. And now Trish is out of Christmas in Arkham. That is a huge problem for us. All right. And then that goes back to the bag. Monster bag. No. That's not what I was trying to do. You go back in. Well. Alright, so now we're into a new Mythos phase. This can go away. And let's draw our new card. Okay, so we've got a gate going to the Witch House. The clue would move to the Black Cave, except there's no availability for a clue there, so I'll put that on the rumor. This is going to be our 6th gate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our 6th gate. There's a Yog-Sothoth gate, and this one's an infinite gate, meaning we can't claim it as a monster trophy. Actually, was it? Yeah, Witch House. So that goes here. Yog-Sothoth goes up to 7 doom. And we need a monster. We've got another Serpent People coming out. Which 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7 will actually go to the outskirts, but because the outskirts is now full on its limit, those all return to the bag, and we increase the terror level by 1. So we raise the terror rating, okay? And because the terror rating went up, Diana gets something. Yep, she gets a clue token when the terror level increases. Oy vey. Alright. Let's see, we did the clue at the Black Cave already. Square and diamond move on white, circle on black. Let's see, you're hexagon and you're immobile anyway. Slash doesn't move. Moon doesn't move. Diamond does move. Diamond moves on white, so 1, 2 up to the Miskatonic University streets. So let's see. Circle moves on black, so the Migo will move. The Migo will fly around the streets, see nobody's in the streets, and go back to the sky. The Shan doesn't move. The color out of space, however, does activate. So we roll a die on a 4 to 6. All investigators in Arkham lose 1 sanity, which right now is actually Diana is in Arkham right now. So on a 4 to 6, she loses 1 stamina. That's a 3, so we're all clear there. Okay. And we did that. Planetary alignment, environment, mystic. Thanks to the mystic energy generated by the planetary alignment, all spells have a sanity cost of 0. Let's see, so that replaces that environment. We put the clue on the rumor already. So now I've got a decision to make. I'm already at 7 doom on Yog-Sothoth. 5 more, he wakes up. We also have 1, 2, 3. Actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates on the board. 1 more and Yog-Sothoth awakens. The problem here is that I'm not equipped to fight Yog-Sothoth right now, and B, I've got a lot of other things going on today. The only problem is if I tap out here, I lose Christmas in Arkham for the 2nd year in a row. But the problem is, as nutso cuckoo as things have gone on this video, things have gone completely sideways on me. Because not only having lost Trish, and now facing down the very real prospect of another gate opening and causing Yog-Sothoth to wake up before we can even do anything about it. Unless Diana closes the gate at the graveyard, but honestly, I think the way things are going here, I think it's just going to be delaying the inevitable at this point. So, I think I will tap out here and call it a stream. Which means we will lose Christmas in Arkham for the 2nd year in a row, unfortunately. That will do it for this playthrough of Christmas in Arkham, or for Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. And Jester, you're just in time to see me tap out on this one. I'll bring you back over to the board, but I'll show you that we've got a huge problem on our hands. Unfortunately, we just lost Trish due to her ending up being lost in time and space, and against Yog-Sothoth, that causes any investigator who gets lost in time and space to be devoured. Not only that, but if Yog-Sothoth just wakes up, the investigators are also going to get devoured since nobody's got gate trophies, because Yog-Sothoth's opening up via gate closures. So we'd end up getting our entire team devoured anyway when that happens. Plus, as you can see on the board, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates. And Diana would have to absolutely stay put and try to close that Yog-Sothoth gate. It's a -2 gate, though, and Yog-Sothoth increases the difficulty to close or seal gates by 1. So we need 2 successes to be able to close that gate. And I would rather eat the loss and go into Elder Sign next week with something resembling a snowball's chance in hell to try to pull out that disaster. So we are going to tap out. We'll eat the loss on Christmas in Arkham, but that will do it for this playthrough. He got the drop on us, and that is a problem. Yeah, that is very much a problem. So do you see 6 gates on the board? So let me move the Dark Young and the Color Out of Space out of the way. You should be able to see the 6 gates now. We would need 7 to wake up Yog-Sothoth with 4 players, but we'll just make sure you can see that. And then while you're confirming that, I'll talk a little bit about this module. So this module is actually pretty slick, where it lets me, it's got a lot of things scripted, but it's got a few things that aren't scripted that I wish would be. For instance, the ability to pull, I know with the Arkham Horror Living card game mod that I use for TTS, there's an option there where it'll let you pull the encounter card, but then it'll let you send it right back. I didn't see that option in here, but let me see what I can see on that. Hopefully, Jester, you've seen by now that there are 6 gates on the board, and we're facing a disaster. So rather than continue this one, we are going to tap out, and that we're going to play that. You'll connect. Actually, what I can do here, give me just a second. Give me just a second here, Jester. I think I can get you the link for that. Actually, you are going to have to make an account on this website. You can just grab a free option on this one. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Back into OBS. Here we go. So if you make an account on that site and then search Arkham Horror 2nd Edition and search Arkham Horror, the mod should pop right up. All you need to do is create an account on that site, and there's an option for a free download on there. So like I said, actually a pretty good module that I do like. I've got to play around with it a little bit more though, so I can figure out how to add the cards. Oh, that's the discard for Trish's items. To figure out how to add more of the encounter cards to the decks. But as I was saying, that will do it for this playthrough of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. As this was our first stream on the day, we're also going to crack the Advent Calendar, which I don't think I brought out with me, so be right back while I go get it. And of course, I've got the Advent Calendar. Let's bring that into shot a little bit more. I've got the Advent Calendar right here. And of course, I see a lot of the green messing around with the green screen behind me, but it's not terrible in the grand scheme of things. So now I'll track down the 8th entry, which is this one right up here, and let's see what the die is for today. Tear that nice and clean. I'm going to turn this to me so I can make sure that this perforates nice and neat. There we go. And now I'll bring it back in, and we'll see that we've got the green screen's playing around with it, but you can see it's the purple and green sets D8, where the creature there, if I can ever get the camera turned onto it. God bless it, I'm choppy again. And I don't think I had anything going on. Well, we're just about done here anyway, unfortunately. So, trying to turn this. There's the creature. So, when that dies up, it's an 8. So that's the die for today's Advent Calendar. And that will do it for this very disastrous stream of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. Busy day coming up on the channel. I have a schedule of... I had Marvel Champions scheduled for later this afternoon, but I've also got my game group coming over for our session of Arkham Horror, the card game, coming over today. So if I have to choose between the two, I'm going to go with... And YouTube decided it didn't want to respond for me today. Delightful. I don't know why it's saying YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, because that is really annoying. Anyway, we have Marvel Champions scheduled, along with Game 6 of my 2017-18 Stanley Cup Final replay, as we shift back over to DC for the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Washington Capitals. Hopefully, it's not going to be a four overtime marathon tonight, because, man, that was a lot of fun, but that was a very long game. Anyway, also scheduled for tomorrow morning, I've got Dungeons & Dragons lined up for the morning stream, so hopefully, I haven't decided what I want to do, if I want to try to start another freeform story with Burrell and Lindell, or jump into one of my adventure modules using Mythic. We'll see what I think when I start setting up. But, thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourself.